the book Thank You Economy was so focused on other people and listening and like going through people's Twitter feed, finding stuff they were interested in, responding to that.
Yes.
You've now evolved to a book called Askgaryvee.
Yes.
And it's very much, your show is now focused on you and your world.
Not true. It's all listening.
What shift?
Nothing shifted.
Nothing shifted.
Think about what you just said. Let's break it down. Askgaryvee is completely predicated on me listening to you first. No, it's true.
That's not the sense I get. I've been following you for a while.
Yes.
We've been each other. We've
Yes.
caught up. We've
Yep.
been following each
Yep.
other on Twitter.
Yes.
I felt a shift, and the shift was very much it's all about you.
Yep.
To a little bit about it's all about me.
Yeah. Well, then I'm doing a poor job. Like, you know, I totally understand, because how could I argue that if that's what you feel?
Yeah.
So maybe my bad job was the, you know, like the tactic of it being Ask Gary Vee instead of Ask Everybody, right? Maybe it's something like that. I don't know, man. Like, I've never felt like I've been able to provide more value than I'm doing right now. Maybe the positioning, maybe just what's going on with the positioning is throwing it off, but I've never been at the scale of engagement. So Thank You Economy, you know, I really feel like this is an absolute evolution of it, because instead of me putting out content that I want to put out, it's completely predicated on everybody else, right? I'm answering and engaging more than I ever have. I'm producing more about myself than ever, and maybe that's the shift, right? Never had D-Rock following me around, so I have empathy for where you're going with it.
And by the way,
Yeah.
the reason I asked,
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me this whole question about how do you shift the focus from being in the spotlight and being a self-promoter
Yes.
to actually standing for something and being a cause and being,
Yes.
being someone who's out there in the world trying to push a movement,
Yes.
push something forward.
Yes.
And I've been asked that same question.
Yes.
About yourself.
And so you're worried that I'm going in the wrong direction.
No, I mean,
I'm asking, by the way, I'm a big boy, like I respect.
I was wondering whether there was a deliberate shift.
Yeah.
B, I was wondering whether, like, I've worked with some of the biggest speakers in the world, and
Okay.
there's always a shift.
Okay.
Where they basically go from being completely humble about
Yeah.
the fact that everyone's showing up to
Yeah.
a little bit in the zone of in the tornado that you're now in, 300 people showing up, people queuing up down to the thing.
Dude,
yeah.
No, listen, I think it's a great question. I think it's a very fair question. Keep the mic, because we're still jamming. I think that number one, I've always been egotistical and humble at the same time. Like, I built a $65 million business as a kid before I came out and did anything. I had plenty of ego before I even did that, right? I think that, to me, I think that I never worry about this, and I'll explain why. I always know what my intent is. I only think the giving has exploded more of the attention because I'm doing it even better. Like, I think the reason there's more of this going on is because I've done it better with Askgaryvee, because I've given more than I used to, believe it or not, because I created structure around the giving. I so much have empathy for where you're going. I'm not too worried about it, because all those people that you're talking about, I don't think they go and spend 3.5 hours in the corner, you know?
Perhaps a little bit of a better question. When things blow up, when
Yes.
things go absolutely the way they've gone for you,
Yes.
it goes exponential.
Yes.
How do you then find your center?
I feel centered, man. I think, look, I think it depends what one cares about, right? So for example, I wish we really deeply knew each other, because if you lived in my brain, you would be flabbergasted by how much money I leave on the table. If my CFO was sitting here, it's so insane how people that are closer to me, who actually have access, like when D-Rock was a fan and wanted to make a video versus D-Rock today who has access, right? D-Rock likes me so much more because he knows the truths behind your question, right? I can't worry about it because I know it ebbs and flows. Right? Like there was an early time in Web 2.0 where I really had it. At South by, I was one of 2 or 3 people. Then I decided I needed to build another business to have the audacity to talk to people about business. So I got quiet, if you think about it, for me between 11 to 14, right? Then I was like, wait a minute, like I think I've really learned a lot. Let me go into a Q&A show, because when I was doing keynotes, my Q&A part was where people really liked it. And instead of me saying that I want to talk about social networks or this stuff, let's see what they want, right? So, listen, I know the biggest speaker in personal brands too. I have not made my money in that environment. when you go list everybody you're about to list, I've made way more of my money building actual businesses. I mean, if my CFO or if my accountant were here, they hate that I do this. They're like, you build businesses. Vayner's gone from 4 to 100 million in revenue. You'll make more money in a month if you don't stop speaking, stop writing books, stop doing this. I don't want to, I like this. I do this more out of the vanity of, I like the interaction and I like the feeling it feels to be loved like this because my mom loved me so much. Again, it's very important to me. The other big speakers don't have businesses that are built to make money not off that audience. I don't want anything from you. It's a big deal, right? It's a big point. Everybody else you're about to name, they want his money. I don't. Every 3 years, I say, can you buy something for 18 bucks? Right? And even then, if he doesn't, do you know what it feels like to answer emails at 3 in the morning all day, engage, put out the content? I know you do. And then when you start promoting for 5 or 6 weeks an $18 book, not a $25,000 a year mastermind, not an $800 ebook, but an $18 book, and then somebody comments like, GaryVee, you're a little much on promotion. I'm like, really? and then I get crazy because I'm crazy, and I'll click that person and I'll go look, and this fucker's paying some guy $10,000 to be his coach, who's a loser. Got it? So, and I appreciate you, and the reason I wanted to jam was in dialogue, when we get to that punchline, it becomes important. And I appreciate you giving kind of that feedback of, for me to be all about me for them, the right move is then to take money from them. That's the move that you're referring to in that speaker world. That's what they try to do. They try to monetize their audience. I'm not, right? I'm looking for legacy. I want their emails in 9 years. That's what gets me off. I've made a lot of money. I've made a lot of money already. Money is not driving me. I'm gonna get that. I did that before I came onto the scene. I'll get that when I'm quiet, right? I like the interaction, I like the legacy, I like the feeling, I like people liking me. I've got that vanity, for sure. But don't let that vanity confuse that I'm trying to do something wrong and take the dollars, and that's a different thing. And so the reason I never worry about, of course it's all about me, and it's equally all about you. And I think that the way people consume me is a reflection of where they're at with themselves, and that's how I use it to navigate.